Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my YouTubers, Facebookians. Sorry about the other video if people were starting to tune in. I had a little technological problem this morning. Basically, what happened was a couple things. One was my computer switched over to Wi-Fi on my desktop, which means the hardwire was a little harder to handle, and so it switched over to Wi-Fi, which really sucks. So I want to apologize if everyone was looking for a video. So I got a couple updates for you. First one is, again, if anyone posts any negative comments after the live feed, and they're watching the video, I will delete them. I don't appreciate being called a fat slob, okay? Really hurts people when you call it. Do I look like I'm a fat slob? No. They're saying put on clothes that fit me. Sorry to say it, but most of my clothes do fit me. So, wanted to share that with you all. I do love this shirt, by the way. So, anyways, yeah, so usually I wear lately, $20. Well, congratulations, Robert. Welcome. I hope you're doing a fine day. I had someone message via, one of my videos. It left in a comment section that I'm a fat slob. I should put clothes on. So, anyways, guys, I'm going to give you a quick rundown, okay, of everything so people don't get their quote-unquote, Robert might laugh at this morning because I'm kind of in a cranky mood. But anyways, I'll get over it. I'm going to make a joke and say their panties in a wad, okay? Male, female, their panties in a bunch. As my husband would say, don't get your panties in a wad. So basically, let me recap. So Social Security beneficiaries right now doesn't have to do anything to get a stimulus check. Whatever payment you have, whether it be direct deposit, direct express, or paper check, you will get a payment. The only thing that's going to delay you getting a payment is if you don't claim. Let's just put it this way. If you don't care about claiming an additional $500 for your child, then you'll get your check that way. Otherwise, if you want your $500 dependent child, then all you got to do is file. And apparently the IRS portal or somewhere out there right now, I'm still trying to confirm this, states that you got to have a child 16 years now and under. Apparently it was supposed to be 17 and under. I will get to these are like little frequently asked question things too. So so you don't do anything. SSI recipient, same thing. You just wait for your money to go in whatever method you have. The only thing I can tell you is if you have dependents under, I think, 16 or 17, go ahead and file the IRS portal. Otherwise, you will be fined just to wait for your money. Now, there's a couple things. People ask me, well, I'm on survivors and disability, or I'm on survivors and Social Security, or I'm on survivors and SSI. Do I get, quote, unquote, 2 checks? No. You only get 1. They give you 2, you're going to be really lucky. Damn freaking bugs. Ugh. Now, another question I keep getting all the time is, when's my money coming, okay? I had a guy literally, Robert might laugh at this, basically turned around and said he wanted to sell me a damn bridge. The dates are wrong. Oh, we're getting paid on Wednesday. You're only going to get paid Wednesday, and this has been confirmed by Nelfie, one of our moderators and a good friend. Nelfie's aunt works at Social Security Administration, and she clearly states the reason that Direct Express, Robert might want to hear this, he probably wasn't here when he saw if he's, basically what's going on is Direct Express has a contract with, or Comerica Bank has a contract with the government. The government turns around, and what happens? basically they turn around and they get paid for deposits. So if they have to pay more than one deposit under each pay date, then they got to pay more money. The government's got to pay more money to Comerica. So what they're doing is sending payments out based off of for Direct Express. Direct Express alone, they're paying what do you call it? One payment, not two. So every time they do a second payment of something, they got to charge. Direct Express charges more to the government. Now, for what I understand, the reason that people were getting paid on the 11th after the first payment wave went out on the 8th is because they were sending it directly out to banks. So what's happening is people say, "Oh, well, how come I got my check on the 8th or the 15th?" And other people said, "Oh, well, how come I got my check on the 12th, on a Sunday?" The deal is the reason for it is the Treasury Department can plunk down checks at any time except for Direct Express. Treasury Department can't just go plunk down anything on Direct Express. They have a contract they got to follow. So if they're basically turning around for the Treasury Department, right? So they basically got to pay more money. So again, people always ask me, how come this or how come that? Next question is, and we've said this many times over for everyone, I guess my videos people don't pay attention, so I'm going to have to say it again. So let me answer, since BBS asked again, and this is a question that's commonly asked every day about 50 times or more. When will I get my money? When is my pay date? Simple. Everywhere you go, everyone has their own theory. Like I said, one guy basically wanted to sell me a bridge when I tried to tell him the dates. Look, let me tell you what's going on, okay? One of my updates this morning, and I'm going to do this right now so you guys understand. My card doesn't have anything pending, okay, for Tuesday. So basically, tomorrow's the 21st, okay? People are sitting there going, "Oh, well, I got more money from SSI." Yeah, it's because your pay date or it's pending, right? Someone is saying one's pending. Yeah, it can pend for 2 days or so before they release it on the 22nd. I mean, literally, some people are claiming they got their stimulus check now. The thing is, it's direct deposit, okay? Everyone knows that if the bank basically sticks it in early, then they can release it on that date. So it's pending for a couple days on regular bank transfers because of the banking system. However, with Direct Express, everything happens on dates, right? So the thing is like I said, every 12 hours or so, I check Direct Express, making sure I might be wrong on the fact that they just plunked the money in there. But no, there's nothing pending. There also is no time frame of when they're going to pay. So people ask me, when's the money coming? Well, NELFI's basically confirmed with NELFI that Social Security beneficiaries, again, when payments go out on the 22nd for people on the retired benefits or SSI benefits on the second, third, or fourth Wednesday of the month, they will get their benefits then. Unfortunately, for Direct Express, it's the same thing. So if you get SSI or retirement on the second, third, or fourth Wednesday of the month, you get your benefits then. So basically, you get your benefits then with your stimulus check. If you, like Nelfi said, if your SSI is on the first or say the 30th, your stimulus check will be there on May 1st. If you have SSDI on the 3rd, your payment will be there the 3rd. Now, mine falls on the 3rd, falls on a Sunday, so it falls on a Monday, which means Friday the 1st. So you get it. So the rest of the people that are still waiting for a full retirement that didn't file taxes will be, like I just said, in May. So Under the May calendar, for example, the second, third, and fourth Wednesday of May would be the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th for the final payments for Direct Express or non-filers. People ask me, what about non-filers? Non-filers are different, okay? Filers get their checks up to the 22nd of this month. Non-filers get their checks all the way up to the 27th the next month. If it's non-filers who either gets deposited into the Direct Express paper check or direct deposit. Sorry. So when you're asking about your money, okay, people ask all the time, when will I get my money? The simple answer is May 1st for most of you. Now, some of you, it's different based off of the dates on the calendar for your benefits. But everyone keeps asking me that same question. People sit there and say, early May. That's the early May for Social Security, but I keep saying it's play on words. I mean, look, everyone's sitting there talking about tomorrow, Wednesday. I've already checked the calendar already and checked things. I even also this morning, tired as I was, called up Social Security directly, and the answer was, nobody says what. Social Security stated, the payments will be completely and thoroughly delivered May 1st. We're not going to see anything before May. And that's from Social Security. Literally. And Social Security stated that Direct Express is still working with them and the Treasury. I mean, literally. Nelfie has said her aunt's got inside information that Direct Express will be updating their information on the 22nd. More likely, it's going to be giving more information. Probably, I'm assuming, about veterans, okay? But that's just what I wanted to share with you all because, frankly, I'm getting messages. I'm tired of people calling me a fat slob. I thought, I don't look like a fat slob, okay? Yes, I have, as my husband would say, a baby bump. Big deal, a little baby bump. I don't eat but one meal a day. And frankly, I'm not a fat slob, okay? So that really hurts. So now, next up, again, people are asking, the main questions is, how come this state's saying this or that? That's because they're throwing it out there. Look, between Nelfie, we basically got this ironed down to May 1st. I mean, literally, Social Security, you can call Social Security, you can ask for someone, you can literally ask for someone at the Social Security Administration we talked to them, and you can ask about stimulus payments. They'll literally tell you what they know. I mean, literally, they're basically more well-versed. Now, why Direct Express is doing what they're doing, I don't know, okay? I can't be answering for Direct Express. Actually, you know what, BBS? If you keep going to these channels and you're going to watch these channels and you get some person telling you you're not getting to May 13th. May 13th is almost the middle of the month. It's not early May. So technically they're completely way off left base. And even if he had complete concrete proof, it's false. I mean, look, everywhere you go, BBS, I've double checked things for you all. I'm not going to give you a date that is inaccurate. I'm going to give you a date that's accurate. And look around, BBS. I mean, I've spent hours trying to get a hold and got a hold on Social Security for everyone like you, so you don't have to dwell and worry on this. I mean, look, that point being is if you look at, sorry about blowing my nose, I know that's a sloppy thing to do apparently. If you look at the big picture, people just sit there and they want their money. They're either hurting or they want to spend it. And they don't have that extra capital to do anything, is what they call it. So they're basically just waiting and waiting and waiting and hoping, where the people that are suffering, like I said, are suffering. I mean, look around. Look what they're doing to, you all. I mean, I don't know your story, BBS, but I bet you're waiting patiently because you're hurting. Unfortunately, I know Robert's story. The problem is these people are giving false dates. I mean, look, we're coming up to the 22nd, okay? People are saying right now that they miscalculated and payments will go out tomorrow. I mean, literally. I mean, let's talk about our Treasury Department, okay? Our Treasury Department is doing pretty a lousy job right now managing things. I mean, yeah, it's trying to drum up another $1 trillion, but look, he's drumming up another $1 trillion. And you know, I was reading this morning. I have a confession to make. It's a joking confession, but I decided to go out and subscribe on my husband's tablet. I got to charge it, by the way. I basically went ahead and decided to get the Washington Post. Great newspaper. You know, I was going to go and subscribe to the Seattle Times, everyone, but I decided not to because I did not like the content. The content you get from the Times was pretty crappy. You know why? The Times basically states that they're getting most of their content from other places, Associated Press. It's like they don't have any real journalism. And they went digital except for Sundays. Well, I called Social Security this morning and I spoke to a supervisor, BBS, and they basically said, we're going to get it May 1st. It's going to follow like Nelfie was explaining last night, that it's going to follow on the time frame of early May for benefits or late April. Thing is the Social Security Administration's already put out a statement stating that it's late April, sorry, late April for benefits for people like Social Security, disability, retirement, and survivors. Whereas SSI is early May. So they're basically saying at the current level, they're going to be giving most of the people the payments on May 1st. Or, as I know, April 30th. Nelfie's aunt works for Social Security for 20 years. I went ahead and confirmed it. Talking to a supervisor on this. Basically saying, hey, the people have a right to know. And everyone is entitled to get a true date. Basically, if you look at the calendar, BBS, you're looking at the calendar of what's going to happen, okay? Look at the Social Security payment calendar. 8/15/22, they said, okay, and let me quote you, okay? I had a nice guy, okay? He really liked our channel. He liked everything going on, BBS. You know what he said? He said we need to bring up accountability, basically, without putting it in those words. And let's talk about the Treasury Department, okay, BBS? Treasury Department's doing a lousy job, okay? Here's the reason for it, BBS. When it was signed, the law signed into the CARES Act or whatever to protect, you know, to help with us floating the economy, okay, whatever they're doing, they turned around, BBS, and they said we'd get paid within 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You do the math, okay? I don't see 2 weeks. It's if it was, I heard rumors it was filed like the 27th, so that's over 3 weeks already. So it's going over. It's like the Titanic sinking, and every water's going over each watertight bulkhead and spilling into the next. So basically, you know, that's why I said many times over we have to be careful. But I needed to make sure, because I want to make sure my readers are right. And if you ever check out Nelfie's channel, she's got 2 videos, BBS, explaining the Social Security problem. Basically, she contacted her aunt, who contacted other people. Okay, so everyone's getting paid May 1st. They're not going to get it early. The only way you're going to get it early is if they do a 360 opposite reversal and gives us to it the 22nd, because the 22nd is the only day you're getting paid. I mean, look, sorry to say, between Social Security recipients, SSI, retirement, survivors, it doesn't take a rocket scientist as you slowly eat away at the months. Okay, at the months. To turn around and basically see a 360 reversal. I mean, look, we have a lot of questions that we're never going to get answered. Why everyone else is on the back burner for Social Security? Why everyone else is on the back burner? Why we are people? Why the people are being shafted? You see, literally. So, anyways, that's what I wanted to share with you all, that that everyone has a problem with the timeline. Okay, people are not giving false timelines. I'm sitting here telling you that it is May. I mean, look, I had a feeling from the beginning it was in May, because every day you cross out everything. Okay, and people ask me, they say, "Hey, Rita, how did you deduct this to May, even though the government has said May and Direct Express isn't saying anything?" I'd like to know how you deduce it. That's one of the main questions. Simple. When the government signed the bill, they said we would start getting checks 2 weeks after. So they were talking about around the 13th. Between this, the first wave was supposed to be the 6th, our wave the 13th, okay? So if you translate it that way and you basically watch, then things started popping up on the radar. How to do everyone knows this. People ask the same questions. Well, how do I get my stimulus check? How do I get my stimulus check? Do I file H&R Block? No, not unless you have a dependent. And if you're doing H&R Block, a lot of people did H&R Block before they knew the regulations or how to do it. Others did TurboTax, right? So what happened? Well, it collapsed, basically. The right hand wasn't talking to the left. So as every day went on and you crossed the calendars out, you started to put together a picture of when you're going to get paid. And people say, "Oh, well, how'd you nail it down to May 1st? Well, it was not about deduction. It was more about the Social Security calendar and more. I mean, if you look at the big picture and the big picture, it was a deduction of, on the 6th, they started saying, "Oh, you'll get paid," but it's 10. As it got to the 8th, I figured the first Social Security checks, people started saying, "Oh, I got my money. I got my money." Oh, yeah. People said, "Oh, that's great. You got your money. We're just waiting for ours." And that's when I started to piece together that the people that paid, or not paid, but filed the taxes, got their payments first. And then what happened? Well, then I waited, and then the IRS said, "We're sending out checks on Saturday." And I thought that was really weird. So what happened? Started doing checking on it, and trickle checks were going in on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. The 15th comes. Now, everyone knows SSDI. They're like, oh yeah, you gotta file this or you gotta file that. Then they basically script it. The 15th, they're like, no one has to do anything unless you have children. But at that point, the IRS already had, they said, probably a couple million plus people that are on Social Security disability, retirement, and survivors that used the portal or ran H&R Block to be safe. So then the IRS turned around and said, well, the My Portal works. You're going to get paper checks, And then what happened? Simple. Then, they came out the rules and regulations for SSI. And that was, you get your money in early May. There was a play on word, early May. Everyone else gets their end of April. You take early May and into April and you fuse them together, you get May 1st. Plain and simple. Because that's the way it is. They're going to basically make a lot of payments on May 1st. Now, a lot of people says, oh, well, what about the other people? Well, they're talking about the Social Security people on Social Security, disability, retirement, and survivors. Now, then I asked the Social Security Administration, what about the dates? Okay. Now, anyone who has filed filed taxes, right? Tax form, filled out a tax form, and submitted it to the IRS, and is getting either retirement or SSI benefits. They are basically those people that filed get their benefits early. So if they get their supplemental security income the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, then they're going to get their benefits then, whereas everyone else has to wait. So people are saying, oh, well, And then you have the other group that didn't, the non-filers say, oh, well, it's early May. Yes, but the other thing is I've been told that anyone else has to wait the 13th up to the 27th. The second, third, and fourth Wednesday of May, the rest of the payments will go out. They can't flood the payments. 13th, 20th, and 27th. So basically now that's what's going on. People turn around and say, oh, well, how come we got to wait so long? Because it's payments. It's literally payments. And so that's the real problem is, it's like that. So everyone sits there and says, well, okay. And then I get the same question asked about, why is the government doing this? Why are we last? The government is, I guess, because Chloe walked the dog, the allergies are kicking him. The government basically doesn't want us to have it, I think, because of the answer, the way I see it, because with all the arguments. But basically, we had advocates fight for it. The problem is everyone is waiting for it. There's people that need it for food. They're not going to get food because they got to wait. There's people that, and as Nelfie said, it's more likely because, as I said, we already get monthly benefits, and so we're not hurting as much as someone else that is. Hold on a sec. Sorry about that, everyone. So basically, what I'm saying is you'll get your money May 1st. They're not going to just go plunk it on the 22nd. If you got lucky to get it on the 22nd, you'll be really, really blessed. But right now, as the deduction stands, if you look at the calendar date, they started saying within 3 weeks or 2 weeks of the bill being signed, we'd all get our money. 150 million people would get benefits, right? Well, let's talk about that for a second because I want to break it down to you. I want to break it down to you for all of you. I know Nate would love to be here to hear this one. Treasury Department controls
is over. I'm leaving.
Okay, whatever. Sorry about that interruption. So basically, let me explain to you what Nate would say about it. Nate would basically say, he was looking forward to a discussion about the Treasury Department this morning and the Treasury Secretary. The Treasury guaranteed that we'd have our payments, 150 million payments within 2 weeks, right? And then they're distributing the money out, right, to 50 states and territories, right? What happens? Good morning, Clydell. Problem is that they're doling out 2.2 trillion to various sites, bailing out airlines, Boeing, big business, you name it, right? So while they're doing it, you, the citizens, are hurting the most because you can't get unemployment benefits. The lines and logs are backlogged. They're talking about new numbers this week, but how's the Treasury handling it? 150 million people are supposed to get stimulus checks in 2 weeks. It's almost 3.5 weeks. Let's see. Heard there was fixing the problem for SSI when we call our Direct Express cards. It says we have no information. I heard the IRS is fixing the problem. Good morning. Good morning, Clydell. I heard they was fixing the problem for SSI when we call our Direct Express cards. It says we have no information. Well, yeah, basically what it is as you called Direct Express, they said we have no information on the economic impact stimulus payment or the stimulus payment or whatever it says. It says every time you call them, check your balance. Well, this morning there was kind of some problems, so I had to call like 4 times because the system was problematic because it wasn't registering my numbers through Skype. So, finally it did. So, but anyways, back to my story, because, people are saying, oh, don't make this video too long. But, I want to make completely crystal clear that everyone's supposed to have their benefits within 2 weeks. Instead, it's almost going to be 4 weeks, apparently, next week. And there's still no money for everyone. 80 million people got paid. 70 million are waiting to get paid. The economy is going down the toilet. Let's talk about that for a minute. They can't revive the economy. Look what's going on. Oil is now in the negative. I've never heard of things going negative. I mean, they're talking about giving away oil for refineries to refine it. I mean, literally, doesn't that sound? I mean, literally, you got to look at it that way. The Treasury Department says, "Oh, everything's fine," right? Yet, not everything is fine. I mean, they got to basically make millions and millions of tests. They're figuring they got to have billions of testing supplies on hand to test millions of people. I mean, if you have 205 million people working, you're going to need to do 205 million tests daily and then cut it down to like 6 days and then 5 days and then 4 days, and just cut it down. Instead, what are they doing, right? So basically, they're doing so much. The economy is tanking. No one's working. No one's feeling like going shopping. And by the way, like I said to all you lovely people, including you, Clydell, I decided to spend and get a $1 subscription for a month. It goes up to a weekly price, but I'm actually literally loving reading the Washington Post. I go and I read the Washington Post on my tablet, and then I can read it on the desktop too. And found the Washington Post to be an actual decent newspaper. I mean, I can't say nothing negative. I mean, literally, it's like it was a great newspaper. But back to my story. So Steve Mnuchin basically says, "Oh, we're gonna get paid. Everyone's gonna get paid, right?" Okay, so if you bailed out airlines, which apparently is part of the bill, and you bailed out airlines, and you bailed out big business, and yet somehow there was not enough money for the other small business loans. All right, let's top that off, okay? Now I know Nate was asking literally about why the IRS the Treasury Department would probably be wondering why the Treasury Department needs to ask for more money 3 weeks after the small business loan. So you see, if they have $1 trillion or more going for small business, where's the money? The feds are already stepping up their game to help, but we didn't expect literally the stock market and on oil to crash. They say, oh, it's just this little error. It's not an error. Basically, what you're seeing is no one's buying oil. Okay, so basically, what happens? So the Treasury Department is basically everyone is making this worse. It's either they're trying to get new currency, like Don Capo is saying, or it's something else. I mean, look what it's doing. It's basically crippling the country. I mean, literally. Let me put it this way, if all currency went down the toilet tomorrow, right? The wealthy wouldn't be wealthy anymore. They would have their inflated dollars that don't mean jack diddly poo-poo. Owners of companies. Then what? They have to reprogram their entire computer system for a new currency. I mean, right now, our currency, everything's based on the dollar, and the dollar is faltering. So what's that mean for everyone else? Well, from what I'm reading, it's not looking good. Now, let me explain what I mean so you can understand. This administration is trying to do everything in its powers to save businesses. Unfortunately, businesses, small businesses, big businesses, if the states don't get the testing equipment, which they won't, because, we're behind, literally behind. And I'm going to tell you exactly a couple of things in this video. All right. That's scary. All right. Scary. So basically, the economy is going down the crapper, okay? It's basically going down the Johnny Flush. It's going away at the dodo bird, okay? No one's buying anything. People are suffering. People's like, give us our money to buy groceries, right? Give us our money to buy rent or food or electricity or whatever, right? But no one's getting their money. Why aren't they getting their money? Because either the government spent the money and they can't explain it, so now they're trying to cover the tracks, or they just don't want to give it to us because they're waiting for the entire economy to collapse. Now you can sit there and say, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, reports on Reddit, a few people getting paper checks today. Well, apparently paper checks were supposed to be going out today, but if they are coming in today, then that's a good sign. I checked my Postal Service email Razor, and I didn't get jack diddly poo. So technically, my email is basically empty when it comes to the mail. But I do want to say, Razor, welcome aboard again. And someone told me I was a fat slob. I thought I was just an average-looking girl doing an average video on stuff. So, but anyway, one of our videos, like I said. All right, so they're saying if you need something on the online system, yada, 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 okay. So basically, I want to say I tried the Kindle edition of the Washington Post, and I found it to be, crappy, so. So anyways, let's talk for a second. So Treasury Department, like I said, promised you guys your checks 2 weeks after the bill was signed. It's almost a month. They can't carry out it. Now they're saying, oh, it's too big of a project. And, the Washington Post, I had to literally laugh again because I actually got into the tablet edition of I'm starting to wonder if Gmail is a piece of junk because it won't let me close out my tab. It just says, do you want to do this? And if you don't do that, then the problem is your damn email is, there we go. is, going to restart, sprout up again. Let's see, who do we got here? So, okay, so basically, they promised us money 2 weeks after. Entire 150 million people get paid. It's only been half. And I know, like I said, again, welcome aboard Razor Gaming. Nate, one of our subscribers, was like, when were you going to get on? And yada. I just got up a while ago and I made phone calls. I stayed up late and then I took a nap. And let me tell you, it does a number on me trying to get all this information out to you. So, well, I had to throw in the Treasury thing because Nate asked about it. I'm not going to be denying Nate, his topic. He brought up a good one. 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks, almost going to be 4 weeks in. The money is still not all there. Now, someone posted that they got their checks pending for Wednesday. That's because I asked literally, did you file Social Security? Did you file a little, on their portal or whatever? They said, yeah, I'm getting my check on Wednesday, yada, yada, yada. But most of the people, it's all basically in the air. Like I said, my deduction was, if you take the end of the month and first of May, combine them together, it basically May 1st. So April 30th and May 1st is the window. How did I deduct it? Every time people were complaining about the stimulus checks, they finally came out for SSI on the 15th. Now, 2 days from now, they're going to be bringing out more information on the other issue, which is what's next. Now, I know everyone's all happy. Oh, yeah, free rent for a while. The government's not going to be offering free rent. Literally. Let me put it to you this way. I'm getting tired of that question, okay? That question is simple. They're not going to give you free rent for a year. I've explained this in yesterday's video, that I got letters from my apartment manager that they have to make payments for the mortgage, the rent, the yada, 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 so everyone can get on the first of every month. Some people are delayed. It's a different story. But no one truly knows, what's going to happen. It's like my companion in the other room. She was griping today about, the lockdown. We don't truly know how long the lockdown is going to happen. I apologize if she got angry earlier. Her mental illness is flaring up. But basically what's going on is the lockdown is driving her insane. Literally, for other reasons. But the problem is you got to look at it that, the government is saying, well, now the government could be trying to change over to a new currency for whatever reason. They want to strip the debt completely down and make a new world currency. Could be possible. I'm not leaving that out. The reason I'm talking about the currency is other countries have done stimulus checks. Fortunately, if you read the Post, really great newspaper. I can't say nothing negative about them. I love the Post. Think of that as better than, I've read many papers, the Denver stuff, the LA Times, and I found the Washington Post to be just a direct newspaper. And they had an article about the economy. Basically, everything's at the grinding halt, tanking and blah, blah, blah. And it was just a great article. And they're talking about how people are suffering and they're not getting their checks. And checks are trickling out. And they were talking about what happened to, the 2-week guarantee, Checked IRS tool this morning, still says dad is getting paper check. Well, that's because, you know your story with your dad. So, why he's getting a paper check, But with me, the IRS portal doesn't work for me because I have Direct Express. So, but they're going to give an update, from what I understand from Nelfie, on the 22nd about Direct Express. We just got to wait patiently for that update because every Wednesday they're giving updates I think they're going to be bringing out an update on Veterans Administration soon because everyone's asking, what about our veterans? And again, it's a complicated issue and a complicated mess because the government, they're not talking. And certain places like the Post is actually posting things like 60-year-old antiquated equipment that can't handle $2.2 trillion. But the Treasury only unloads it to states and official things. Now, let's talk about another thing about this whole Treasury thing that, the Secretary, everyone would get benefits right away, right, when this bill's signed. The unemployment numbers are going up, and the states can't handle each state handles the unemployment level. Now, if the unemployment people are all at home and they got special phones and special computers to work from home, I talked to a lady the other day that really nice. She was working at home. She says she didn't like working at home. Well, yeah, he filed, but he also did he go through TurboTax or the IRS portal or H&R Block or one of those places? Because if he did, that's why he's getting a paper check. That's the reason. But a lot of people are saying that if the date is May 1st, then I got a bridge to sell you because the date's wrong. They're all saying we're getting paid the 22nd, and here's how I deducted it. Again, I went through the calendar. They said, in 2 weeks, we're going to get paid. The 2-week mark was the 13th. They started trickling out on the 11th to make sure that you're ahead of schedule 2 days. But then when the 13th came around by the newspaper saying we get paid, we never got paid. Then it turned into the 15th when they came out with SSI payments getting, well, there you go. H&R Block. See, that's why I was getting a paper check. Then when the 15th came, people before then said, we're getting paid the 13th. YouTube was posting, we're going to get paid the 13th. Then people said the 14th. When I deducted it all the way up to yesterday, the 19th, and today, the 20th, the only deduction is now people are saying, you're getting paid the 21st or you're getting paid Wednesday. Wednesday's payments are for anyone on SSI or Social Security retirement. That's it. And those are the ones that get paid normally on the 22nd that filed their taxes. Now, a lot of people say it doesn't make sense when I talk and Nelfie talks about Social Security paying everyone else on the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th. But that's because they're talking about the majority, okay? The majority of people on Social Security disability, whether it be survivors, disability, get paid on the 3rd. So all their payments are going in on May 1st, which means they got to make one giant swoop. Now, if for some reason, this is just Direct Express I'm talking about. I'm not talking about other places. Other places, credit unions, banks, they can get their money earlier if the Treasury decides to do it on the grounds that they don't have to pay Direct Express a double payment charge. Now, what's really bad about the double payment charge is Direct Express has a contract with, Comerica Bank with the government, so they get a payment for, say the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd, but also the first month, the 1st of April, the 30th of April. Any other extra checks they gotta charge the government for, okay? But other banks, they just say, direct deposit, okay, into your account. Now, a lot of people that don't have banks, they get paper checks. So how does this affect Direct Express? People say, how is it that I'm getting my payment the 13th, the 20th, or the 27th of May? They said the majority of people will get theirs at the end of May or early April. They didn't say, of that. The Direct Express thing is the giant conundrum. It's the giant dichotomy of everything wrong. Because they want to make one payment, which hypothetically, as I said to Nelfie, the problem is, and she said, yes, ma'am, the problem is the government is making two payments. One's coming from both goes from the Treasury Department. One entity, Social Security. The other entity is the IRS. So they're still getting double paid anyway. So to me, they should just cough up the money now, but instead they're making us all wait. And the Social Security Administration only has a link. When you click on the SSI thing, they talk about how SSI, you can Google it. Now they get paid at the end of April 1st. Disability retirement survivors or SSI people get theirs early May. So people say, well, it doesn't make sense for the others, but it does because Direct Express is trying to work with the Treasury Department. I'm assuming because the next payments go out on the 22nd, we're going to get an update from Direct Express and the Treasury Department more on SSI, SSDI, retirement survivors, and VA. Because like I said, there's 70+ million payments that haven't gone out yet, and they have to answer. But the Treasury Department's more worried about small businesses. Again, let's put it this way. If they get $1 trillion from small business, right? Like I said last night, it's putting a Band-Aid on, because as long as the states keep everything in lockdown, businesses aren't going back to work, and no one knows. I mean, some countries had the coronavirus under control, and all of a sudden it's spiking, Can you tell about the H&R Block thing or TurboTax thing? All right, so H&R Block and TurboTax, as Razor asked about. So what is going on is people are so panicked that they want their money now, okay? You understand that word now, Razor. That what happens is they went out and they filed. Before, the government actually had rules, which makes you wonder if they just wanted people to file their taxes no matter what. Rules. And they were giving rules from after the bill was signed, the law was signed, up to the 15th, stating that everyone had to, that was on SSI or SSDI or whatever, had to use the portal or file taxes or go to H&R Block or TurboTax. And people were doing this. And then all of a sudden people said, well, I thought, like RP said, hey, I thought this was, if you had benefits, you didn't. So the IRS turned around and said, okay. So they backed down. But they said, if you have a child and you want the $500 for a dependent for each kid, $500. What happened? They basically said you have to file on the portal. Well, people that had children were filing with H&R Block and TurboTax, and well, guess what? Think they get $1,200 and an additional $500. So those people said, okay, I got it. I got the Emerald card, or I got this, or I got that. And lo and behold, some of them are now being told, well, even though we have an account, you're getting a paper check, and people are getting upset because they want their deposit. They have deposit info. When you file usually with H&R Block or TurboTax, usually you got to pay a fee. And then the company that does your taxes get that money before you do. And so, so basically, and some of them, like IRS, if you go to the portal and they say, oh, your dad's getting a check, for example, or your mother, it's because they filed, and they thought they would do it the faster way, Razor, to get money. They were like, oh, I'm going to get my check before everyone else. I'm going to file my taxes, Then when the IRS came out and said you don't have to do anything unless you have a dependent, that basically blew up in everyone else's face that was filing early, wanting their money early, Razor. And because of it, now people that have dependents, people that filed H&R Block, a lot of people did. A lot of people are getting paper checks, and that's what's really upsetting. A lower income will get their checks first, but at the same time, it's going to hurt everyone around. Now, if I end up with a paper check And my theory is everyone will get a paper check, but right now this whole Direct Express thing is in cahoots, or as or as Nelfie was saying, what was the word? Hoodwinked, because no one truly knows what's going on. They call Direct Express still. They say we don't have any info. The Social Security Administration already gave me a timeline of when payments are going out, but the problem is it doesn't answer to when everyone else is getting paid. Everyone else is making up false claims. And then you get these people that do updates like me every day. I do mine no charge. That are basically having people click so they can make a living. And these people are now updating it saying, oh, it's the end of May, early April. They're basically trying to cover their tracks because, and it's coming from the Social Security, or they got it from CNBC or some news source, that's out there. And people are saying, oh, no, we're getting paid the 22nd. Well, that's if you filed taxes. If you filed taxes early, you get paid early. If you didn't pay for taxes, you're a non-filer, then you got to wait like everyone else. And so the entire thing is pretty bad, So I thought I would share that with you all, and like I said, Nate wanted to know about the Treasury Department, how they're handling things. I think they're handling it terrible. I mean, literally, if the Treasury Department is in charge of $2.2 trillion, and yet they're already out of small business loans, it's either that money disappeared fast because of too many people requesting it, or two is they have other problems that they don't want to address, So, and I just want to say to Razer Gaming, the other reason is it's complicated because, I think they wanted everyone to file to get a stimulus for whatever reason. Maybe it was a backdoor to the census, the census 2020 or whatever, but no one knows. I mean, literally no one knows what the IRS is doing. And, people have asked about stimulus checks, why we haven't gotten it yet. And the IRS ain't giving, the IRS and the Treasury Department isn't giving a direct answer. They don't want to answer the question. And so people out there are suffering. And yet, as Nelfie theorized, that because we get monthly payments, we're not hurting as bad as someone who is hurting. And some of these people that are severely hurting, Razer, and to the rest of you, is because they're getting paper checks. And that is the problem, I already said we're getting it the first. How many times do I have to say that, Xbox? And there's people out there asking me all the time, when is it coming? They're claiming it's the 22nd. Fortunately, if it was the 22nd, we would have had a heads up by now. The media would have given some inclination that it would be paid on the 22nd. It isn't. So that tells you right there what's going on. So, but the Treasury Department, like I said, they're not doing a good job. Literally, they're doing a terrible job. Everyone's supposed to get paid within 2 weeks, and it's almost 4. Now they're blaming it on the IRS's aging 55 to 60-year-old computer system and COBOL, and it's just downright wrong. You'll get, like Xbox says, you'll get it the first. Yes, other people will get theirs the 13th, the 20th, or the 27th the next month. I mean, we just got to be patient. Thing is I check my ballots every day to make sure I'm wrong, honestly. And frankly, people ask me, well, how did you deduce that it's the first? Well, Social Security told me, for one. Nelfie and her aunt said it as well. And two is, and this is a big one, is when they said we all get paid 2 weeks, we'd all get paid 2 weeks afterwards, that was the week of the 13th. And so they're giving updates on Wednesdays, and people are getting paid, still trickling in. They're fixing the system so everyone gets their money. And so, like I said, today's the 20th. People asked yesterday, saying, "Oh, we get paid Monday." Well, if it's not pending on Direct Express, then that's different. Now, if you have a direct deposit on a bank or a credit union and it says pending, good for you. I'm happy for you. But for the rest, they're suffering. And, this is why, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, because, everyone is throwing out their own dates. It's May 1st. I deducted it because when, like I said, they said end of April, early May, I deducted that most payments will go in on May 3rd, which means everyone gets paid May 1st. And the SSI people get paid May 1st. So, that means most people will get paid April 30th at night. And if they do give us our money early, we all can live in happy harmony because we got it early. But, as Nelfie said, we only have approximately 11 days for payday. So we can live 11 days. As long as you have 11 days of groceries and you're still stuck indoors for 11 days. I mean, everyone knows recently that the Brian Dennehy from Rambo and movies, he passed away recently at 81. Bless his heart. And I have condolences for his family. He basically did a movie called Dead Man's Walk. It's based on the Lonesome Dove series. It's the beginning of the entire story. A guy asks Brian Dennehy, "Major, when do we get paid?" And he said, "Mr. Coleman, what do you plan to buy out here?" They're on the Texas plains, basically. So what do you plan to buy out here? To me, the thing is, as long as you're buying groceries or paying bills and you just want your money for free spending, what are you going to buy? Most of the stores are closed. You're going to go and spend it all on useless junk through websites? Or are you going to actually hoard the money? So while most people can survive until the next benefit payment, other people aren't. And those people are the ones that are suffering and saying, "Where is our money?" And then they find out it's paper check. And, they're trying to change it and they can't change it. It's going paper. So, these people are the ones that are going to suffer the most. These people might lose their house. They might lose their cars. They might lose a lot. And then in the end, they might have to pull resources and live with their family or something else. It is only pending for good. The veterans aren't getting it. So far, there's nothing Xbox on the media talking about veterans getting paid. The ones that are getting pending right now currently are the ones getting paid on the 22nd for people that are on SSI or retirement that gets their payment on the 4th Wednesday of the month. Those are the ones pending currently because they're the ones pending in banks and credit unions. Whereas Direct Express people, there's nothing pending for Direct Express even 2 days before Wednesday. So technically, if we looked at the math, nothing is literally pending. And the veterans, people are saying, "Oh, veterans are going to get paid." I haven't found any news yet that says veterans will get a dime. That's what really upsets me too. They fought for our countries. They're, in my opinion, entitled. Instead, they're not getting to see a penny. And I assume they're going to bring up some update about veterans on Wednesday. They're always giving updates every Wednesday right now as their update period. And that's because they're trying to coordinate with Direct Express as well. So it's mostly a Direct Express update anyways, like, oh, yes, it'll go on your card, or you get paper check, or you get, literally. So, and the other thing is supposedly, what is happening now, also, as I forgot to mention, is anyone who's got benefits, SSI survivors, retirement SSI disability, they're the ones, if they got benefits in 2019, they're the ones now that the IRS and the Treasury said will get payments. Anyone who got benefits from starting January of 2020, they got to use the IRS portal still. So that's really a complicated issue as well. So you know how it goes. So it's just really, really funny. But this is why I do these videos, to keep you guys informed, so people think, until the, honestly, the Treasury and the IRS and Social Security all pull their resources to actually address the problem. As Nelfie said, we have to speculate. Now, from everything I've seen and deducted, it is May 1st. Unfortunately, people are going to start throwing out false dates for Wednesday, and when their money doesn't come Wednesday, they're going to start to ask again why. And then the other problem I deducted, also just for you all to know, is that when they said the end of April for disability retirement survivors, I deducted that it was for the week of April 27th to the 30th. So that was the window I was assuming at first, until I got concrete evidence that states May 1st. Now, when they say the beginning of May, I deducted again that SSI people would get paid May 1st. Most of the SSI. Most of them get paid end of April, April 30th. So I'm figuring everyone gets paid. Some people might get their checks on April 30th, and some will get theirs May 1st. That's my deduction. And then everyone else that didn't non-file it, that gets their payment with Direct Express, will get it either the 13th, the 20th, or the 27th. Now, people ask me also, well, what about people with bank accounts or people with credit unions? Okay. Those payments, or like NetSpend or one of those other cards, and those people can get their stimulus checks earlier, because they can, the Treasury can just drop it into their account at any given time, which means they don't have to pay extra fees like Direct Express charges for double payments, because Comerica Bank has got a contract with government, so the contract states that if they have to do a second payment, they got to charge more. That's why rumor has it that most back pay doesn't usually get stuck on a card. They want to send it in a paper check, so Direct Express doesn't get charged. It doesn't charge the federal government more money for a second deposit or even a third deposit for retro checks. So I hope that answers your questions. I hope you look at it from, take my words as a grain of salt. I hope that answers everything, because it is a complicated issue. Honestly, you just gotta sit down, do research, and do some deducting, so you know what's true and what's false, so you know exactly what to do. And so I thought I would share that with you all, and hope you like your update, and like I said, I hope this enlightens you and answers a lot of questions that you have. And otherwise, your next update will probably be tomorrow, just to give you a recap and to let you know where my Direct Express card account stands when it comes to having a stimulus put in or not. Because like I said, every 24 hours it starts to reset right around 1 a.m. Eastern time. So that'll tell me if there's anything pending then, because it's 12 to 24 hours. And so far, if there isn't anything pending tonight for tomorrow, then I will deduct again that tomorrow, Tuesday, when I deduct again for the 24-hour window again, that most likely for April 21st at 10 p.m. when the money goes in for April 22nd, that again, if nothing is pending then Direct Express people like me and others won't get their payment on the Wednesday, like people are throwing out there all over in the comment section on YouTube vids. So that would mean that unless I'm wrong and we get paid either the 23rd, 24th, or 25th, I'm assuming, again, it's going to be May, because I don't think they're just going to plop in something on April 27th or, 28th or 29th. So that would mean more likely we have to wait till April 30th. So I hope that this video answers your questions and answers somewhat of the timeline from my perspective. I just want to say, for the record, I could be wrong on the timeline, but more likely I'm not. I believe it is going to be May 1st, like I've been told. But we'll see. We still got 11 days until that stimulus check goes in. So, in 11 days, the IRS and the Treasury and Social Security could shock me and make me wrong. So, but highly unlikely. So, that said, everyone, please add, subscribe, please post comments, please leave feedback, suggestion, hit that like, subscribe button, so some fun for the family, including your dogs and your cats and your bunnies. Hit the bell notification for new content every day. Thanks for watching, and God bless you and everything you do.